Welcome back, everybody, to Gringos Liberados. This is episode 4 of 2026, and Rude Dude is here. He's off 4 days of games in this region. Man's doing LPL English at the same time, and he's back on for a podcast as well. We trapped him in this show. He didn't know he was going to be here, but then we grabbed him by the leg and pulled him over, so now he's here. Rude, how awake are we on a scale of sort of 1 to 10 right now?
You know, we're good. There's no way I would rather spend my evenings after a full day of work than talking about Brazilian League of Legends. So that's why we're here. And that's the joys that we get.
Absolutely. We got 404 back as well after a couple of weeks off. My man's been studying accounting for the past month, like a true professional citizen of the world. How you feel?
I'm glad you didn't say sellout.
No, man. As an accountant, it's not really my interest to call that a sellout profession. But...
yeah, I'm learning, hashtag real world skills TM, and it's been,
I can't wait for you to hit your quarterly reports and KPIs. That's what I'm here for.
That's really what I was put on this earth to transform raw data into structured business insight and provide shareholder value. So. It's really just nice fulfilling my calling for once.
We love to maximize shareholder value on this show, that's for sure. Sponsors welcome. Okay, right.
You see those gaps next to the standings? Your logos could go right there. Those logos could go right there.
Literally anywhere that isn't the logo in the middle, just like it's free real estate, guys.
Like a South American football shirt. There is no real estate that is sacred.
Or like an F1
you can put a sponsor on anything. Exactly.
Bro, tattoo on my forehead. Okay, we've got a lot of league to cover, so we're gonna try and move a bit swiftly here. We're not necessarily gonna go over every single game top to bottom because we had 4 days, multiple series, a bunch of best of ones as well. But the main headlines to kind of address here, we can see the standings here. Los did achieve genuine first. Now they managed to lose 1 game to PaiN Gaming because why the heck not? Predicted. And occurred as expected. So they managed to have what did look like a pretty off game from them, I will say. It was Trigger's debut game. PaiN seemed to be locking in to a level never seen before in this year for them. And Lost just kind of picked Vayne top and just blew it. They just blew it.
They wanted the content, like we said. It was going to be infinitely more hilarious if they went into that Sunday game with 2 teams at 5-1 to have the full battle for first.
Yep.
And even more hilarious if we ended up with this PaiN Gaming situation, which we inevitably got.
Yep. Couldn't have written it better, So
and when we got the full, I will say I didn't think Trigger's debut was largely positive.
Yeah, but man's good. He's a good player.
Yeah. The ball was on the floor, let's be honest. Like, not to take it away from Trigger, not to take away from the fact that he did have a good debut. He could have, I think he could have done many things worse than he did, and people would have still been happy.
Absolutely.
The thing about Trigger is when he came in, I think he did have a good debut. I think he performed pretty well. It wasn't necessarily enough to get PaiN over the line. It was certainly improvement, but I'd still put him below someone like Bull. I think I've preferred what Bull has shown from Loud. The team dynamics are obviously completely incomparable with Loud's structure of rookies, the time they've had together, the PaiN expectations being massive, into performance being terrible, into trying to dig themselves out. So it's not a one-to-one comparison, but I think if PaiN kept Trigger, I wouldn't be upset. I'd be like, okay, I still necessarily would have probably spiritually preferred if we tried to help Marvin out a bit more, but they're going to be serviceable, and they could potentially build into something more keeping this guy around.
Yeah, that's certainly a good idea.
I dare say I'd be pissed if they got rid of him, because he's clearly shown a level
after putting all the effort in to bring him over.
Like, are we kidding? Right? You use an import slot? Like, unless he just sucks, like, as a person, because he's a serviceable AD carry. Like, look, if you're looking for another Titan, I hate to break it to you, dude, you're probably not going to find him.
There isn't one on the market.
No, exactly. Whatever you paid to get Trigger over here at the last possible second, you will probably have to double that to get a Titan caliber AD carry who's willing to come to Brazil for like 2 splits. And like, they know how desperate you are, right? The org, like, you are in a position of 0 leverage right now. So whatever org is going to give up this mythical Titan level AD carry is not going to, they're going to bend you over a barrel. Like, it is not going to come cheap. Keep him, work with what you've got. Shoot, it's not like he's even dropped into a system where no one speaks Korean. His lane mate speaks Korean. Like, this could be a lot worse.
Yeah, like the laning was just so instantly better when Trigger came in with Curry. The 2v2 was like you could actually just leave them to get on with it and try to do something else anywhere else, which did seem to help Karaoke, Robo, and Dylan's out a lot. Robo was certainly receiving some assistance in some of these later series, and it was very effective. Camping for Robo and getting ahead is an effective way to win a game. Now, we have kind of buried the lead a little bit here. PaiN, as effective as this was, as happy as we were with the debut of Trigger, was it enough to keep them alive in this year? No, it wasn't. PaiN has been knocked out. RMC is thankfully not here for us to make
he
fun
did
of
send
him.
a message, right?
Yes, he did.
He did throw some preemptive cope into the... So, I thought about like emote reacting in the Discord to his message in like a kind of a bantery, we'll say, way. But I decided
so the official statement out of the office of Random Minioncaster is they had a tough situation. Losing the soul and captain of your team right at the season started is really tough. So regarding their poor showing in CBLOL call, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. They can do better than this, and I hope they make use of the off-season well. Absolutely cutting stuff from RMC.
Yeah.
So PaiN,
a diehard PaiN fan.
Sarkis and Zero are going to be looking at that going, okay, woof, we need to shape up because this is not good. This is not good.
And they are in the broadcast Discord to see this.
They're always
to know.
They're forever checking. Yeah, they're diehard viewers.
They've been,
of course,
exactly. I mean, it's a tricky spot for them, for sure.
Yeah, they did what they could. They tried to make a last minute change. It wasn't quite enough. And full credit to Leviatán for just being better than them yesterday. You guys were on that cast, I believe. And
are we doing the series breakdown?
So we'll take this kind of in the natural flow as opposed to necessarily chronologically while we're on PaiN. Like they had their journey through. They managed to make it into the top half because of strength of victory tiebreakers. So they got 2 chances. And they lost to VKS, but man, did VKS kind of scrabble and scrape through that one, I'll be honest. And they're probably not, CL is going to be once again dishing out heavy beltings for that one, I imagine. And anyone who saw the press conference kind of could feel that. I think he was not happy again. But we probably would have...
They did bid, yeah.
We probably would have thought that they could maybe fight their way past Leviatán, right? Like, I know Lizard wouldn't have believed as such, but...
Yeah.
How did you guys think going against that Leviatán series? Like, did you actually think that PaiN was the favourite, or no?
Honestly, for me, no. I still think that Leviatán came into this as favourites. PaiN Gaming never particularly showed me enough. But more importantly, I had these imaginations going through my mind, right? The voices of past Gringos Liberados episodes where I saw, yes, Leviatán, they're so much better than this 2-5 scoreline. They're so much better than this 0-3 scoreline. They're so much better than this 1-5 scoreline. And I feel like that kind of got showed to us in the best of 5, where they were able to develop, where they were able to get these really solid performances out, where, we saw that reflection throughout the series as well. Game 1, they got dumpstered. Game 2, there were slightly better things. They had a strong early game again, but then PaiN Gaming came back, and then PaiN Gaming threw, and then Game 3, Leviatán absolutely dumpstered PaiN, and then Game 4 was one of the best League of Legends games that we've seen on this split. So it really never felt like, for me, to answer your question, Trajan, that it never felt like PaiN Gaming were the favourites and that Leviatán should have won this series.
Yeah.
I mean, I fully was. I guess I kind of took the other side of that coin of surely PaiN are better than this. Again, like especially now that they've gotten kind of a serviceable AD carry and maybe some of the mental of like, it's sort of like how it's like, can you really blame a keeper for having bad stats when he's playing behind a leaky defense sort of thing, right? Like if you don't have the confidence in your AD carry, then you are not going to play the same way. You're maybe going to try to overcompensate in some ways. And this is me playing amateur psychologist rather. But I thought that they would improve. And to be fair to them, I think they did improve. But then I think to kind of generalize another phenomenon here, I will get to some analysis, I promise. There are certain players in sports, in League of Legends, whatever, that like they're not actually as bad as their reputation would make you think, but their errors and their blunders are so loud and egregious that it makes you think that they are worse than they are. Like your consciousness just remembers those. Karaoke is the poster boy for that.
Yeah.
What happened to him in Game 4 was absolutely brutal. And again, I say what happened to him, but also things that he did to not really mitigate those things, not flashing at level 1 to stop the snowball rolling, right? Rudy pointed out the sunk cost fallacy on cast. I'm going to go right back to the quadrant where I just got my you-know-whatted and try to salvage this instead of going to another lane, calling for some sort of help, something, right? And look, and to give credit to PaiN, and this is where I'll get into my analysis, Leviatan's mid games were absolutely putrid. They let PaiN back into every single one of those games. They had no business being in a couple of those games. But even then, right, you can give Leviathan grief for the mid game, but the grief belongs to PaiN in the early game because it wasn't like skirmishing mistakes that were like, the things that doomed them. It was early solo kills. It was just basic kind of 1v1 solo queue, like, I got hit by a stun and then flash auto electrocute. Whoops, I didn't think it would do that much damage, right? And that kind of stuff, with the greatest of respect, with the players that PaiN Gaming have, that can't be happening. You can't blame that on your AD carry. You can't blame that on, team cohesion. That's the kind of stuff that is just basic individual responsibility. And you're always playing from a leg down.
Yeah, it was very much not, when a lot of this from Robo and Tinons, when we saw them in the Loud Dynasty era, like, they were just able to get away with stuff because no one was able to really hold their feet to the fire on the obvious and gaping flaws in their game. And now Leviathan, a team with a bunch of Div 2 LLA players, are cooking them in the lane for being like, you are playing illegally. You are just I'm going to like absolutely steamroll over you in this early game if you're gonna be that disrespectful, if you're not gonna like at least adhere to the basic tenets of how we play the game out at this point. So like from Leviathan, from initially being, Sayo and Toplop felt like their best avenue to win later, and generally, like, Devis had always had strong laning we've seen it against people like FMB before. Enga was fine, Buki was fine. Sayo and Toplop was like, this is how we can really like drive forward the early game and win. And then going, well, now they've got Trigger and Curry, and so maybe we can't do that anymore. Maybe we're not going to be able to just like absolutely bum rush Marvin and then just play through Sayo. But it was Devis cooking Robo on repeat. It was Enga finding kills onto Tinones, and then it was Buki going into Karaku's jungle and just robbing him and beating him up and mugging him, leaving on the side of the road. Like, it was the top side that was completely checking PaiN in a way. After they finally fixed the bot matchup, the rest of the map fell apart in a very big way in the early game. And the Leviathan mid game was pretty suspicious. It had been all split. That's why we'd seen them get good early games more often than not, but struggled to convert against better teams. It was still present here, but PaiN, I think, just had absolutely no real answer almost any of the time. And they could do a bit of general mistake punishing like we saw in the Loud era from some of these players, but there just didn't seem to be that much depth beyond that. And Leviathan actually has more than enough sauce to pick themselves up, and evidently I think have probably been studying and working on this to take a lead, even if they throw half of it away. They've still got half of it.
More than half.
If they throw all of it away, if we're being honest, they still have like a sense of control on what their champs can do and how to play out like some parts of the game. So do they get much further than this? Unlikely. But credit to them.
No.
They kicked out Robo, they kicked out Tinones, they kicked out Curry. Absolute all credit where it's due.
Yeah, to put a cap on the series, like, even if you don't watch games 1 and 2, please go watch 3 and 4 to see some bright spots of Leviathan. And if you have to pick one, go watch game 4. Like, seriously, if you have a spare 40 minutes, a spare 45 minutes,
fun.
It was just fun, and that's what we do it for, right? Like, that's half the reason. Like, we're coming into this, it's a 6v7 play-in game. We're not expecting HLE versus T1 here.
No, dude,
but it was just a good, fun game of League. Go watch it.
It is the Simpsons meme of the guys on the boat, like with the two monkeys fighting each other, and everyone's just sitting there like throwing money at them, right?
They're having so much fun in that clip, That's it's just
oh my god.
And we are those people. So it was absolutely game of the week to watch, absolutely. And all props to Leviathan for what they've achieved here. PaiN sadly out, will have to rethink or not and come back in the first split. Now the other team that we lost was Fluxo, a much quieter, less distinguished exit. They were in the elimination match. They lost to Leviathan. They got 2-0'd, and they're the worst team in the league. And that's just kind of how it shook out. Fluxo versus PaiN. PaiN probably wins, I think, which kind of says it all. I think Fluxo just couldn't put it together. Peach, Rude, you'd not been on Peach's defense squad for a long time, and I think that series was another truly tragic Peach-a-thon that, like, in the second game especially, it was just the dude just not had a good split at all. So.
Yeah. He picks Jin every game, effectively, right? Like, he did nothing. This
he
was
managed
the,
to pick
the
Xin
vibe.
Zhao and managed to do as much as Jin does. You literally Jin Zhao, you know, like, but and was like 3-9 or something last game. Just bad stuff. And I don't think there's anything too much more to say about Fluxo. If anyone has any last thoughts to share on this team, we can probably just be like, unlucky folks, we'll see you back here next split.
Do you think they make changes?
They have to, surely.
I don't think. Yeah. I think we need to put Curti to one side. I don't think we've seen anything that makes me believe that's worth it. Obviously, it's not an import slot, so it's the only thing playing in his favor right now, I think. And Bao and Peach just have not been earning the import slots so far. How's Deece?
Jungle change is very likely. Like, I would be very nonplussed to see a jungle change come through and be like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think we saw a bit more from Pro Delta than we had in previous splits, which is good. I think this was a bit of an upturn for him.
He did improve a little bit.
He certainly had some good games where I could say that entire game was good from you, and we didn't really have any of those last split. So I think How's was solid, Prods was improving, and the rest of it I think is probably just do what you want, because I don't think there's too much.
You've used 2 import slots, neither of them have worked particularly, so there's a world where they rethink those entirely. And like, obviously, I don't know the state of contracts. Is it going to be? Did they sign them for a year? Are they kind of stuck with these guys unless they want to break contract, prison, or whatever? Like, I don't know the inner workings behind it, but if they're stuck with Peach and Bao, then they're kind of committed for the long haul, and it's really only Curti that feels like the maneuverable piece, and then that's a different discussion to have with Fluxo management, I guess.
Yeah. So I think from the mid pack, as it's kind of worked out, being just Loud and VKS chilling there, neither of them had a great week. I think Loud certainly still has flaws to exploit. I kind of on this week's fantasy, I went to opt into Loud to see if they could get some long drawn out games and actually continue to grow on what they started. Sadly, they kind of regressed a bit, and Bull got like 2 points or something. It was horrendous for my man down there. And yeah, it was a bit of a woof. And VKS, as we'd mentioned before, are still they're not solving problems. They just have all these problems, and they don't seem to get better. So something needs drastically rethought. And the kind of the takeaway from CL was they're not trying. Was basically what he said in plain terms. Is my players aren't trying, and it's disgusting. Sort of paraphrased about a 2-minute.
We love honesty. No.
Yeah. So he's cracking the whip.
Something hairdryer.
Yes, he's cracking the whip, and we'll see if they will, I don't know, try. If they want to win the split, they're going to have to do that, because they've now got 4 teams above them, 3 of which look really scary, and 1 of which looks really scary past 40 minutes. So it's, I don't know, we're gonna need to do something here, but I don't think we have too much new on these teams. Like, they're fundamentally flawed right now. If they can't solve the problems, they'll be out of here in round 1. Luckily for Loud and VK, I think they play each other, so they can't both go out.
They do, and I think, I mean, it feels like we've got a top 3, and that's what I think we ended the split with, is that we've got a very clear top 3 divide. We weren't quite sure. We mentioned this a couple of episodes back, like what the top X was, what the mid pack was, what the bottom is. We're at the end of the split. It's Los Red Furia. Kind of, we're happy to give them enough good graces from previous years and the performance of this split, and then it's Loud VKS Leviatán. Unfortunately, Leviatán have drawn a team above their station. Loud and VKS might give us a good series. So you know, that could be fun to watch. But I expect Furia to dismantle Leviatán, to be honest.
Yes. Furia, it does seem to be showing like that they're on or they're off kind of thing. Because last week they were back on easy 2-0, not close, big points. Like, they were just crushing it, and like that's what we saw in week 1. And week 3 was a bit of a nightmare. Just kind of what have we done here, and then we're back on it. So again, their potential is still there. They're not being held back from playing up to kind of what seems to be close to their peak. It's just that we're not getting it every day, and they just need to work on getting it every day. So cool. At the very least, we're not kind of in a tragic hole like they were before. So I think I'm happy to put it there. And the top 3 from our prediction from the start of the split is just swapping loss of VKS basically. And just like unexpected problems for VKS, a bit of complacency there, and then Los gelling like no one's ever gelled before. We kind of skipped past the Los Red game, but Los specifically 4i4. Now that we've seen them, they lost that one game, they had an off game, they went back to it. Given that we're now going into the play-ins, or playoffs, I should say, into series, how much faith are you ready to have with this Los roster now that we're on best ofs and we're off like the best of one coverage?
Look, they're sick. I think the fact that they got, I mean, I'm looking at the bracket on Leaguepedia right now, and I'm assuming that the selection has already been had.
Yeah.
And that they will play Loud K. They don't get to choose once those winners are chosen.
I thought it depends on the results. And then Lost will choose once we know who the winners are, and they can choose which one they want, I think.
Could very well be.
Either way, I think my point still stands. If they already chose and they play either Loud Cade, great. If they haven't chosen yet, there's no. If they choose,
they're not picking Furia.
fire the decision maker.
That's like what Furia did before, when they were like, "Yeah, we know PaiN's the first ranked team, but we just beat these losers, so we're gonna pick them anyway," which was beast mode, and you know.
What about though if Leviatán beat Furia, and then what does Los? Do you think Los then takes the game versus Leviatán, or are they?
I feel like they would.
If Loud like scrapes through a crazy nonsense series versus VKS, which could easily happen, to be honest, at this point, and you have Loud versus Lev that just beat Furia after beating PaiN. It's kind of a tough one. It's kind of like a
50 spot.
Yeah,
because
equally there is a world.
Lev will be surging.
There is a world, I think, where CL's cracked the whip a little bit. VKS 3-0 Loud, or 2-0 Loud, excuse me. These are best of threes, where they 2-0 Loud, and then Los go, oh, scary. And then they don't know who they're picking either.
VKS, ooey, champion, oof, and then they just pick Furia. Let lose.
Yeah. And then lose to them.
Yeah. Not to make light of the fact that Lost did beat Furia, as they beat everyone who wasn't PaiN in the regular season. So, you know, it's all muchness to them.
Yeah.
The Kryptonite's gone.
Yeah.
and that's true. And that's the thing, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at kind of cursory champion stats right now. It's impossible to say kind of how deep the champion pool goes, right? Because look, this Lowe's team is not perfect, but look, they're not gonna win the split, right? But they will,
unless
right. Unless, but I think they will. Look, they will go down valiantly.
I think they'll be fourth.
That kind of feels like their level when everything is said and done. Because like you said, we've got a top three. Like they will finish above one of these teams, right?
Do I think they'll be fourth?
Who's third then?
Yeah, who takes them out?
Is it Loud?
I think VKS.
No,
I think VKS do it. Yeah,
okay.
I think VKS beat Los in the...
I could see them, getting whipped into shit. Yeah, but point is between Red, Furia, Cade, and Loud, it would be a pretty epic collapse if they finish below all of those teams.
There is I mean, surely it's happened before where the first split just gets double knocked out of a double alien bracket. I feel like I've seen that story play itself out.
Yeah. No,
and this Los team, it wouldn't surprise me as high as I am on this team. This is the exact type of situation that just by proxy of being in esports for a little bit that we've seen happen, where a team is a best of one god, they play best of series, and they look like garbage. And I can't help but feel that somewhere like instinctually in me for Los.
Yeah, we are now going to arrive at the point as well when people have settled into the meta after a couple of weeks, and then they get to do it in a presumably fearless best of three setting, and we start having to come up with more ideas than Rumble B1. And we think, okay, shoot, well, now what, man? Now what do I play? They banned down Bessa, and I've already played Rumble. Shoot, man. So we'll see them tested at least a little bit more on the strategic level. I think in terms of the actual matchup, I think Los really doesn't want to go against Furia. I think that Zest really wants someone he can bully. I don't think Giga's that guy. I think from the way Bowler's been playing, he's kind of that guy right now. I don't think Bowler's been having a very hot split so far. And Shino is a rookie who is good.
I feel like Bol sees me in the caster booth and then he regresses. He becomes worse. Bol was apparently this absolute legend when I wasn't here. And then I came back.
And you've never seen it.
And Bol's Bol again. Like, I still
we're just
hold this
mid.
guy. Like, he's there. when I left, like I was calling for this guy to hang up the boots. Now he's better than that. Since I've returned, but I mean, this is
he has
I
gone
don't
back
know.
to like early VKS Bowl for like split 1 and 2 VKS Bowl, which was very mid and very like
which was good, not great. And then at the end of split 3, he turned into Prime Bin. He was just
he sucked out Bin's essence and hasn't given it back apparently.
I know.
So, he's not using it anymore, but he's not giving it back to Bin.
Clearly,
which is kind of harsh.
Maybe that's why he left the BLG house. He was looking for the source back.
Yeah, he was like,
he went to Brazil. He went to Bull's house. Like, give me back my mojo, man. Okay, so I think we'll see for Los. We're yet to find a true reason to doubt them because the game they lost was a massively fumbled draft and just like a very off day looking game, and we'll see how they do. For Loud and VKS having a mid off in the first round, the problems that they have, neither of them are really good in the early game. So it's probably going to be very messy and could be very flippy. VKS did at least manage to hold out against PaiN later on, which isn't the easiest thing to do, but Loud are also good in the late game. So these actually seem like a really tough matchup, and there's no easy way to be like, well, you're bad at this, and they're good at that, so it's going to crumble. It honestly just feels like, are VKS going to wake the heck up, or are they going to stay in their own heads? You know? Because it seems like players like Desamis, possibly Morteus, and possibly Bowl might be in their own heads a little bit, and we just haven't seen like the star power from Miryu. We've not seen what we saw from Bowl yet. So
yeah, we know it's in there. We're
just
waiting for it to hopefully come back out.
Yeah, because like Miryu, like you have to beat Margot better than you did last time, man. You have to beat Margot more than you did last time. It can't
with the greatest of respect to Mago, who I do think is on a bit of an upward trajectory, and I do think that if any org is going to give him leash, it's going to be Loud in this situation. I hope he'll get all of 2026. I think he'll be a serviceable mid laner, but you have to do better than that. You simply because like he was just making fun of people last split. He was the best mid, and it wasn't even close.
How much better he was than even Kaze. When Kaze was still settling into like, and now he's
Kaze
like
look
firing
like a
on
chump.
all, but yeah, it's crazy the difference there. And I don't know if we're just because we're giving him Orianna every game or something, but like, I don't know if I had to like pick a target for most likely to not be working hard enough. I don't know where Miryu's gone, man. Like we need to snap back into focus. So hopefully this series is fun at least. But
as a very quick yes or no answer question, isn't this the time that we would have typically done an awards-esque show for the split end of regular season?
So normally we would have run it pre-playoffs, but because the main season was 3 weeks, we just don't really have enough data for that. And I don't think we did one for the first split last time. We may have done.
We well might not.
But I don't.
It doesn't feel sincere to have done that.
We didn't do a full. If we did, it wasn't a full one. It might have just been like a post. We didn't do the full awards or individual tier listing of everyone, I believe. Obviously, anyone who was there can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe we did a full run for for the first split last time. So Furia Lev being the other side, it is a surging Lev. Devast, particularly, I think, maybe out of any of them, the way Devast was completely styling on Robo was very, very impressive. Caught the eye of one Peter Dunn as well on the socials, going, "This guy is actually kind of nice." Like, has anyone seen? Is anyone seeing this? And he's not wrong.
It was pretty funny watching their series yesterday in that final game, the Kennen versus Jax. He like solo kills Robo twice in a row, and then they swap the lanes, and he doesn't go and kill Robo anymore. And we're like, you know, PaiN are getting back into this game somehow. Yeah. It's because DeVost isn't matching Robo, and then DeVost goes and kills Robo a couple more times, and they find a way back into the. That's nice.
With murderous intent, with intense prejudice. Like we're like, oh man, this AP Jax build, man, he could just one tap anybody. DeVost said, "Hold my yerba mate," and just rinsed him 3 times in a row. And I was like, oh no, they're not getting back into this game. Actually.
Yeah, I was catching up on it, and the first I was watching it through, I was watching it on 4 times speed on the YouTube pod, and it's literally just like, Devast has killed Robo, Devast has killed Robo, Devast has killed Robo for like the entire mid part of the game, and I was like, what is happening to this man? He's getting absolutely destroyed. But yeah, that and like clutching out some of these like multi-stage team fights with people dying and TPing back in and stuff, and Devis always seems to be the one getting that one final massive ult or that key kill, or it's just it was exceptional for him. Now he's done that to Robo. Cool, 1-0. Gigo next. We've only had one actual proper Gigon game so far, I think, this split. But when Gigon strikes, he can go down 9 times and die to a cannon on repeat. Like, he can be that guy if he has to be. So
it's in the wheelhouse.
it's one of the things
he's got that in the locker.
He does.
Not good.
No, he needs to clear it out, I think. But so like top lane, depending on which Gigo shows up, Devis, there is a way for Devis to crack that, and we've seen he's playing like kind of out of his mind right now. I think the Tattoo Buki angle is very interesting as well, given what Buki did aggressively in a very tattooish way to Karaoke, to then now have Tattoo, who was in his position last year, coming in and being like, I've just been promoted, I am now going crazy and jumping out of my chair and killing everybody and clapping everybody. So I'm very excited for this top side generally, and given that Furia plays through it so generally, he's like so aggressively most of the time, I think we could have a very spicy first like 10 minutes in top jungle.
And I think for me, the thing to sort of look at in that sense is, well, if Leviatán did all of this versus PaiN, and they looked so good doing it, are Furia going to let them get away with it, really? Buki, as much as he had some massive performances early on, it was against Karaoke, who's never been, for my money, that early invade jungler who's going to make it your problem. Tattoo is going to see these plays, it feels like, that little bit more, and respect that. And maybe look for it himself as well. So I would be very curious and very cautious more than anything as Buki before going for these types of invades. If he has the matchup, maybe it'll be fine. If he doesn't, then it's curtains.
Yeah, it's like you won't find Tattoo when you invade him on his Crocs, because he's already on your Crocs. So
yeah, because he's like exactly.
He's not there, I'm afraid.
He's behind me, isn't he?
Yeah. I think that the one that gives me pause, obviously, is we've still not quite seen the best out of Tuts yet. He's fine. He's just kind of fine. He's decent. But Enga is improving and is willing to...
Is that the one area of the map that we think they might have an advantage?
That's the thing.
Enga had like the series of his life.
We did, right?
Unbelievable.
We need to see that Enga back. If we do, then we could see a bit of the Margofication of Tuts in mid lane right now. Like, he could be kind of pushed around a little bit, because he has been hit and miss. But Tuts has a pool where if Furia want to adjust and just go, all right, you're playing Victor this game, like, they can cover for Tuts pretty easily, I think, in the draft, and give him something super safe, give him Rise, give him Victor, give him something he can just farm it out on, and he can still do his job. And then you have Ayu and Jojo easily able to challenge Seo and top bot lane. Like, their 2v2 is still exceptional. And then you can play around Gigo as they normally do. So I think Furia has a good way to approach this series, and it's going to require Leviatán to keep that strong early game and avoid throwing anything back Furia's way, because like Furia and Red do have this way, they don't go down in gold early. They just don't. Like, even if they're not winning the ganks, even if they're not getting more kills than their opponents, they don't go down in gold the way a lot of other teams do. So you can't go into mid game with like a spare throw. If you throw in mid game, you're now 4k behind. You didn't get one for free. They won't give you it for free. So the punish game, I think, in Furia is so high just because they're never that far behind. They're always one fight away from taking back control of the game.
Yep. No notes.
So going into we haven't spoken too much about Red yet. Los, we've obviously spoken a little bit about Red being the other threat up there. Red did lose to Los, fair dues, but this was off the back of another very similar kind of coach got the whip out last week from Tuckers after they threw the loud game, and gave them a very big, like, who do you think you are kind of speech. And they did come back and win the next match. They still couldn't put together a fully clean game after that, but they did kind of shape up a little bit. They couldn't beat Los. Fair enough, Los is very strong. But Red has been able to beat everyone else. And the last time they played Furia, they just kind of were better than Furia at basically everything. Like, they just completely outclassed them in a way that I did not expect. And their only other, like, loss in the series, like the fake loss versus Loud, and then the real loss versus loss. So they still don't really have like a genuine actual defeat besides.
Feels like they should. Yeah, they should be a 6-1 team as well.
Yeah,
which is always nice. I mean, for me, Rebello actually had a really solid weekend as far as those things are considered. We were looking at him having a very solid performance pretty much consistently, even in the loss. It wasn't horrendous, but Rebello having a little bit of a step up. I feel like he wasn't necessarily the brightest point of Red before, where we're frequently talking about Kaze, FNB, and Curse as well has looked pretty solid. I think whoever it is that Red end up playing, they're probably going to have a good time of things. I would not be surprised to see sort of a final almost if it's Red Furia in the best of 3 form of this weekend, and then whoever loses that runs the gauntlet to meet whoever wins it in the final.
Yeah,
I think that feels like the blessed timeline in terms of what we've seen throughout the course of this split of like, okay, who are our 2 kind of highest ceiling teams? It really does feel like it's those 2. Like if they are firing on all cylinders, we are going to get some of the best League of Legends we have seen in the Southern Hemisphere in a long, long time.
Yeah, I may be giving Furia too much credit here, but I do feel like they did not bring their A game that week when they lost to Red, and I think they have more to show in that matchup specifically. So I would expect a little bit more there if they played a best of 3. Obviously, best of 3 is kind of deceptively easy to just lose. Like 2 games really isn't that many. To just have an off day. You have a really bad draft game 1, and you can't agree how to play it, and then you're kind of in your own head and you trip in game 2 or whatever it is. Like it can be over quite quickly. But I'd like to see it again because I don't think Furia gave themselves a fair shake the last time around. So hopefully we can see that one again. And I do agree. I still think that's probably likely to be like, I'd love for that to be the finals, basically. I'd love for Red Furia to be the finals matchup. I think that's the kind of my hope. If we can, they're both playing at a level where they can get there, because when they're playing at their max, I think they probably beat everybody. Obviously, again, with the caveat that we don't really know what happens to Los when they lose, because we just haven't really seen it much.
I think the good thing about that weekend was that we actually got to see Los have to battle for a win. Like the game versus Red wasn't cut and dry. Los, like previously, had just slammed everybody. Up to then, they lost versus PaiN, and then they had this game where Red actually had some buying power in the match, and Los took it off them, which was a little bit of an assurance for me as well.
Yeah, and I think just like remembering it, the biggest impact of that was how badly Feisty did Kaze in that Sylas game, because Kaze Sylas was being banned like off meta by everybody by the end of 2025, and he got the Sylas, I think it was into like Oriana or something, like, and
Ori, no, it might have been Ori. You're fine.
One of the 2, but like Feisty has definitely been the least lane dominant of any of these Los players, and generally has been doing what needs to be done. He's been role playing.
It was Oriana.
He's been role playing very heavily, but that game he finally like stepped up and smashed the best mid in the league, and was like getting multiple kills. Kazi was down like 2 and 4 or something out of early game. Like he really shut down
when he was behind as well.
Yes, he really shut down.
Feisty was behind in that lane. Sorry,
what should have been like what has been the strongest part of Red has been Kaze so far in this year, and Feisty stepped up to do that, and that was like really made me sit up and listen a bit, because that's like the one potential weakness that I'd seen, was that Feisty maybe isn't gonna hang as well, but that completely shoots that narrative in the head. So,
and I mean remembering back, the way that this game was lost was Curse just EQing forward randomly on Jarvan, and then the game ending.
As one does.
I remember because this was like a really tense game where there was like back and forth, and quite a high octane moment, and then Curse thinks he's got an angle that just does not exist, and they lose their jungler, they lose the Baron, and they lose the game. And in a best of 1, you can get away with that, and I think that's the other side of things that doesn't make me favor Los, which is where actually if they lose that one game, they're going to get a whipping from the coach. Talkers is going to say, don't do that again, kid, and then they won't do that again. That's what the best of series gives you.
Yeah. So it does give me a lot of hope, for that potential matchup later on deep into the playoffs, absolutely. So let's take a quick squiz at Fantasy to see how we landed here. after that third week. Acheron has regained and grown their lead at the top. It's now about 40 points over Lunaday. Lizard, of course, being a big LLA better, came off massive from this week because Lev has...
What a gamble, man.
Yeah, and it's paid off huge. Rocketed into third place from like 7th or 8th or something before. And driving myself and RMC down into 4th and 5th, with the rest of us still struggling. Dark Knight has been from the bottom to the top and back to the bottom, which is kind of tough for Thresher Maw squad. And Paradox as well has been our current defending champion from last split. Just can't pick a horse this year. Just can't get it done. He's been on a rough one as well. The dice aren't falling for him, unfortunately. Don't gamble, everybody. You know, you could end up like Paradox and 7th out of 9th in the fantasy league. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be that guy. I think so. Like the biggest story really was for me, because they were on my team. Loud completely crapping the bed and getting absolutely no points at all when they've previously been consistent point getters, even in their losses, because they go long. And then the Leviatán storm into success. So anyone that had that bet got away huge. And PaiN sadly was not to be.
Did PaiN get some points at least this weekend? Feels like they should have got.
Yeah, because like you say,
you could have had Trigger in E, and then that would have got you some points.
Yeah, they went long in like most, if not all, of those games when they shouldn't have. They should have gotten no points this week, basically. But because Leviatán is still an imperfect gem, PaiN still got a little bit to offer to the PaiN enjoyers. Okay, so we have a few questions from Lunaday and one from Superban as well, I believe. Lunaday's concept of the week coming in first here. With Valentine's Day around the corner, what is a CBLOL pair you wish you could have played Matchmaker for and seen play together or play longer with each other? Mine would be Painful Gaming and Last Place because they seem to fit together so nicely. So we had to get a PaiN shot in there, as always, but like any kind of duo, or it could be like a coach and a player and a coach and a team, or a mid jungle or a bot lane duo that we wish we could have seen more of, or could have seen for longer.
They don't ever have to have played with one another, right?
Not necessarily. You could play Matchmaker for now, set them up, blind date.
Can I have Ninja Kiwi Seos bot lane?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ninja Kiwi with some experience by him.
Yeah, I want Ninja Kiwi with a support that did a thing.
That plays the game.
That knows ball, and Seos knew ball.
Yeah.
And that, maybe at some point, I'm 90% sure that in their CBLOL career, they never played with one another. Maybe on some like random academy team when they were coming up, they could have done. But yeah, I want Ninja Kiwi and Seos on a team together. Please and thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm trying to think of the best jungler I would put with House that enables House the best.
Just the same thing as me, who can facilitate my favorite player.
So, yeah, I just want one player to have someone to have a jog jungler who plays from every game.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, would you want Karaoke with House?
I was thinking probably Karaoke, to be honest. That's probably the best. Like, knows how to shut up and play for his goated mid laner kind of vibe.
Or like Shinny and House, who just kind of. He's just Mr. Like, I'm going to press the go button.
I think Shinny and House wouldn't be on the same page ever. I think House would be in bot lane while Shinny's engaging a Baron, and they'd be like, huh? And they just wouldn't, I don't think they'd gel super well.
Scary and House had a time together, right?
Yeah, on Leviatán at the end of last 2025, and it was okay.
Yeah.
Scary's down he's down in CD on somebody right now. Somebody good as well. I think he's on like...
We could bring that back.
He's in there.
I mean, Peach is not an irreplaceable piece. Let's put it that way.
We could probably sub Peach out, and we'd probably be okay. We'd probably get away with that fine. I think it probably is Karaoke, to be honest. He probably is like the best CBLOL roleplay era jungler that is like very good at tracking, counter ganking. Can pick whatever for the team, anywhere from Lee Sin to Ivern. Like, he can pick whatever the draft requires, and is happy to not be the star of the show. So that probably. I mean,
that's a question for next week, right? Like, that's the sliding scale of junglers of Lee Sin to Ivern. What is it for top? What is it for the other roles? I think it might be a triangle though for a lot of the roles. But yeah, you're right.
I'd like to claim that there's more than one facet on their role than
I mean, Sejuani doesn't really fit in either one of those. I don't think so. That's that's like the other side that you take.
Yeah, it's more like a political diagram at that point. Like,
alignment card.
Political alignment chart. So Luna can workshop that into a question for next week.
He was the chaotic neutral jungler.
The jungler's political alignment chart. We can set the axis for us.
4x4, a duo.
Yeah. Dude, I'm trying to. I mean, like, is it too soon to say? I would have liked to have seen how Titan in this PaiN Gaming squad worked out, because I don't think it actually would have worked out that well.
It's like the main,
but like. Yeah, just like the like, because that was supposed to be the Brazilian super team, right? It was like, oh, here are two kind of like really experienced and relatively malleable solo laners, and a genuine superstar in AD carry, a jungler who is just going to do whatever you tell him to, and Kuri, this guy that like it was the best duo in Brazil in the bottom lane.
Mm-hmm.
Would have liked to have watched it burn, because that's a lot of big personalities in one room.
Yeah. I think,
alas,
I think if I was trying to think of a bot lane, I'm trying to craft the most busted bot lane from this split, and it's probably
the Ninja Kiwi Seos one was a good shout.
Ninja Kiwi Seos is a fun one. This split, it might be like Dudu Frosty. Because Frosty is
still cracked.
Still cracked. He's still fairly young, and he really cares about doing well, and is upset when the game isn't good. And I think that's a good influence to have next to Dudu, who is getting quadra kills every game, and we don't want him to get too high on his own supply. You're really good, but like, we do need to be serious sometimes, because especially when the opponents get harder, we need to not be trying to like necessarily hands check Ruler in the same way that we're hands checking Bao. Like, we maybe need to approach it slightly differently when that inevitably happens, when Los wins and goes to first stand and gets matched up against Genji. So that's wait, no, is Ruler still on Genji, or did he get moved to someone else? I think he is.
Ruler's not on Genji. Hey man, this is gonna be really awkward if he's in the LPL and I've not known at all. No, Viper's on BLG. That's fine.
Now. Where did Elk go?
Yeah. He's on Weibo.
Elk is on Weibo.
Okay.
Yeah,
there
Elk's on Weibo.
I'm gonna assume that Ruler's not.
I'm good at my job.
Let's go.
It's a lot of teams, to be fair.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, like, I think Frosty and Dudu would be a good pair, because I think Frosty would have the right attitude to keep Dudu growing in the right direction, kind of as like Seos probably would, as well, as being just a very serious, skilled person. As Seos, I'd happily put Seos with like any AD carry in this region and be like, yay, you're better now, just straight up. That's just the power of Seos. Okay, second question here from Luna Day. In my opinion, Marvin, this is just like, I think this is probably just a very simple yes. In my opinion, Marvin didn't fail Painful Gaming. Painful Gaming failed Marvin. Putting a rookie into a situation with a shot call win lane, dual DPS and carry team fights shouldn't happen. Now, obviously, I don't think Marvin was asked to shot call a single team fight in PaiN. I think we're probably being a little facetious there. But
yeah, it's like just because Titan was asked to shot call doesn't mean that Marvin is now asked to shot call.
Wording aside, putting Marvin into that situation sucks for him. It was probably the only reasonable thing PaiN could have done. But they didn't necessarily have to boot him, and then just go out in last or second last anyway. We could have just kept him and done that. We didn't have to. Bring Trigger on midway through the split. We could have saved that for off season. I'll be honest, when it would be less kind of jarring and harsh for Marvin. So, yeah, it's didn't have to be done. I think we're all just like, yep, didn't like it.
Good take.
Correct take from Luna Day.
Yes.
Number 3. Based on regular season / play in performances, only you have to pick a team to represent CBLOL at Worlds. But here's a twist. Seeing I didn't make this question the right size for this box issue. Seeing the bookie robbery of every MVP player possible, whoever picks the first must add him to their team. The second pick gets, I don't know who Boa is.
Bao.
It's Bao. And the third pick is Mago. So whoever goes first gets to pick a jungler who's actually quite promising, and the second place gets Bao, and the third place gets Marco. So third pick kind of suffers in this thought experiment, I will say. But you have to pick an all-star team with one of these settings. Now, who would like to go first, or who thinks they can make a team with Marco, basically? Because, like, who wants to...
Hey, man, I'd like to go first.
Yeah,
I'm gonna... I'd like to take the team.
You can take Bookie, yeah.
I'd like the team with the really good jungler on them, actually. So are there any other stipulations? I just have to have Buki on my team?
Yes. So you need all-star roster from the split. Feature
okay, Frosty gets support pretty much without doubt. I'm not against, and I'll leave you guys a little bit of wiggle room, because I want us to have. I don't know if we have to have different teams. It feels like that's something else that was being suggested, but like we can't use the same player on our same team. So I think
sort of drafting through this, then potentially, yeah.
Yeah, then in that case, I actually have been a real big fan of Morteus this split. I think he's been dealt a bad hand, and I would quite happily take Morteus on my team, to be honest.
He did decently
he's been playing really well down bot side, and has been getting I don't know, bad hand being dealt to him. I have to take Buki jungle. I mean, my mid laner, I'm taking Enga as well. Like, I'm sold, and I'm making things nice and easy for the rest of you guys here.
Yeah.
And then I think top lane, I'll take Zest. I'll go the easy one, and I'll keep my nice top lane pool.
Yeah.
So I'd have Zest, Buki, Enga,
Morteus,
AD carry, Morteus, and Frosty. Yeah, so I got the best top and support, I think, pretty much without contest. And then I picked up some other unfulfilled pieces, like pieces from other teams, you know?
On some Moneyball picks from Inga. Yeah. 4i4, would you like to craft your Bao squad?
You need Bao.
So I get
so
Bao.
You need to play Jhin every game, is basically.
Yeah.
So you need a roster that can win with Jhin every game. He did finally win on Jhin, bless him. But
he did.
And you took Enga, right?
I did.
Enga's been
All
right.
I will take Kaze, because he will put on the carry
If you
pants.
can't have a carry in bot, you can have one in mid. There you go.
Exactly.
So I'm not gonna have one in mid. So
And I hate to do this to you, Trajan, but I'm going to take FNB, because if there's a guy who can play literally everything, right? I want a malleable draft.
Neek.
I want, I want a malleable draft. I want carries in every position potentially. I want someone who can play tanks very, very well as well. And I don't know, Trajan, who do you want between Curse and Tatu?
I mean, I'll take Tatu.
I'll take the other one.
I'm gasping for carries, man. I'll take Tatu.
But I'll take. No, I'll take the Samus. I'll take the Samus again. Someone who's got a little bit of carry potential. As well.
For sure. So that's support. You still need, I think. Who's
give me
playing? Alistair.
Give me Jojo
for their Jhin. Great
Jojo.
Alistair player. Yep, works fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's FNB, the Samus, Kaze, just banger topside, crazy topside, and then Bao.
Maybe two banger, maybe too many mouths to feed, but you know what? On paper,
that's why FNB
that's the only way this team exists.
That's why FNB is the
on
best
paper,
pick, because FNB he's not resource intensive. That's why he's the best top lane pick, because he's not.
There's also no mouth bot lane, so it's like you're so good. You don't have anything to feed down there. This guy's picking Youmuu's rapid fire every game. That's it.
Jojo is going to be balling on crumbs and lint.
He's leaving, dude. He's leaving as well. Like, he's getting level 3. Actually, he's finishing his quest, and then he's out. Like, then he's done.
Yeah. Okay, I'm taking Gigu Tatu topside.
You need Margot.
I'm taking Furious topside, because they know how to play through each other, and Giga can carry as can Tatu. So I'm taking the pairing up there. Margot is landing like a lead balloon in mid lane. And what's my bot lane rest here? I could take Dudu here and just grab another carry.
Yeah, you just... Yeah.
And I could just take... Ackerman plays really well with Dudu. Maybe that's just the best option. Because Frosty's gone. Jojo's gone, who are probably the only other people I'd sub in instead for that, for Dudu. There's like a really volatile option where I take Curry as well, but I don't know if that would work the same way. It could go horribly wrong. So, probably for the sake of the fact they've actually looked really good together, I can just take Dudu Ackerman pair, and Tatu Gigu pair, and then just Margot is like the soggy.
Do we want to
of that?
I mean, I think this is a good little I guess thought experiment. Do we have another question afterwards, or can we spend a little bit of time with?
There's one more, but it's
here?
not.
I think
we can spend time on this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this would be a really good time to just do like a top one, or like a quick, not necessarily all pro, but like a who is our super team from the regular split. You know, like who would we, if we had to put 5 players together, who would we pick as our best 5 players per, or like best 1 player per role, right? And we have no stipulations, we have no rules.
Yeah.
Just looking across the board, is Zest the best top laner
I think so.
from this split?
Remember that Vayne game?
Yeah, but recency bias plus meme potential, you know?
Yeah,
like
so,
when
like,
they...
I feel like I would still... Because if I'm crafting a super team, so like... I feel like I would still pick FNB just because I've seen what he does internationally. And he actually claps internationally, so I've seen him in a greater context. So it's not Zest's fault I don't have as much data on him. But I would still... I'm not yet ready to declare Zest better than FNB. But he's a reasonable pick.
I'll align with that. I'm not against any of those arguments, and they'll do me.
Yeah. I think we can probably all agree.
Jungle, are we?
Right? Can we just like Kaze mid?
Kaze mid.
Highest upside can take over. Again.
Tatu jungle for this split. Drake hero jungle.
That's crazy, isn't it? What a crazy choice we have to make now between Tatu and
Drake
Tatu.
hero.
Or give me Tatu. Give me Tatu. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I think Drake Hero was really good.
With the greatest of respect to Drake Hero,
this is the
it's 7 games best of 1 after exactly. There's too much in the back of my head for Tatu and for Drake Hero.
Like, the answer run the opposite way. Probably should have been Desamis, but we can't do it after this split. He's like clearly struggled. I think Desamis suffers maybe almost more than anyone else in VKS when the team dynamic isn't correct, or like if there's something wrong. It feels like Desamis's results very, very wildly there.
Based on this split, we cannot put Desamis as one jungle. It's just not.
You can just slap in there, and I think he's cooking any game. Just on his own back.
Yeah.
So that's FNB.
Mid Kaze and then bot lane.
I mean, I'd still be happy.
Dudu definitely, surely.
Should we just? Is it Dudu Frosty?
I think it's definitely Frosty, and I think it's definitely Dudu.
We dropping a Frosty Dudu in bot lane, or
I think we can drop a Frosty Dudu on the bot lane. I think that's our move. Yeah. It's not quite soggy in the corner like we got last night, but it's definitely a Frosty Dudu.
There have been like the bot lane pool, like we have like I don't think you lose too much by swapping him for Bull, Seo, Ai, Rebello, or Morteus, which is crazy. Like they've all shown a lot. I think the bot laners. Marvin obviously put in an unwinnable situation. Trigger's floor is definitely higher than I think. He definitely has more to show. And I think Bao's the only one that's come off a little sour, but largely it's because like we're just not picking real champs for this guy. Like, so I think like the bot lane has felt remarkably on parity. I think Dudu's had like maximum highlights and is being spoon fed every single kill in every team fight, so he's popping crazy. But like,
and I think on that team he will kind of continue to be spoon fed.
Yeah. I think it's the right call.
Hypothetical team.
It's working really well. So, but the bot lanes, I think there's a lot of choice. I think there's quite clear ones for most, if not
mid support.
Roles, to be honest, jungle,
mid and support are definitely clear.
Top lane's got a couple choices for sure. Like Gigo is still in the conversation somewhere, depending on what kind of top lane you like. You know, I think Robo's fallen out of it. Bol's fallen out of it this split. Devast is like running up behind them in the wing mirror, like very fast, but he's not there yet.
Yep.
And then bot lane's just pick one at random and you're probably good. Like,
any of these will do.
Yeah, and then which coach am I bringing? I have to give some props to what Enetron has done somehow with this like 5 randoms and is like completely
Enetron invoked.
And then Talkers because I liked the way he was disciplining Red for being clowns.
Yes. I think that's the coaches are always tricky as talent to know who's actually providing insane value, but something has happened in the Los camp, and if we're not giving many of the players their flowers, then we should give it to the coaches.
Yeah, it's not even we can't even, because I can't sit here and say Drake Hero was always this good, the teams were just bad. Like, that wasn't true. Akuma was always bad, the teams were bad. That was not true. So something's working real well here. And
yeah. So top to bottom, it's we landed on FMB, Tartu, Kaze, Dudu, Frosty.
Yeah. It's a lot of red.
I think that's a good team.
Red just has a lot of goddamn hands on that roster, man.
Yeah,
that kind of works as like a first team All Pro.
Yeah, 3 out of 5 red All Pro. Nods to Los's AD carry and Furia's jungler, which I think they'll be quite happy with.
Yeah, and Los's and Ackerman is like definitely still. I'm experiencing drag on Ackerman from the last year that I think is slowing me from appreciating him enough. But as we get into best ops, we'll see if that continues because that bot lane's been working so well. Okay, last question was from Super Ben, actually, and it's quite a quick one. Was the insanity in Lev versus PaiN, especially Game 4, something that goes down in the beloved halls of CBLOL history, or was that just going to be par for the course in 2026?
Ooh.
Do you think this is standard?
That's a very good question.
Or is this?
That's a very good question. Like, am I going to remember this?
I think
in
a
year's time got completely dumped out of 2026 after trying to build a super team and then shooting themselves in their foot and then shooting themselves in the foot again and then losing in the first round.
Yeah.
I think I'll remember. I mean, now, do I think that I might remember it more because I was casting it? Yeah, that probably has something to do with it. But it was a historic result for PaiN. That team fight, I'm using the term team fight very generously here.
Yeah.
What happened in the bot lane, right?
It kind of for like 2 minutes.
Game time.
Yeah, exactly. Where I just screamed for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I laughed and cried
for a long, long time. I'll put it back. I'll speak for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is not even somehow. That is not quite as memorable as the PaiN as the Red versus Loud game from the regular split. But I think that the highs of this game were much better. What is in the CBLOL halls of history at this point? Like what quintessential do we have from when we've covered the league that we just live and die by and we remember so vividly?
Kind of
what is it contesting with?
The first thing that springs to my head is the karaoke Kazakhs pick in like the third Loud final in Game 4 as one of the most diabolically bad Kazakhs picks into getting gapped insanely by Croc I've seen. And that's just what I think CBLOL moment. I don't know why that's the one that I think of. It's doing karaoke really dirty, man, but like prime Croc
like
stuff,
I said, man,
like
the lows are so low with him.
Yeah, like some of these like Croc,
for example,
games are so wild.
Yeah. Robo will never shake off the Rise Top game he did at MSI. That will never. That will never leave him. But that's not CBLOL specifically.
Yeah, so. And again, to the part B of that is Croc forgetting to buy a jungle item.
Yep. Croc in MSI group stage in the G2 game, I think it was. Yeah. Robo invading enemy blue buff, level 1 on
Gnar. Olaf. Yep.
It was Gnar.
I have it.
So
there
he
you go.
usually does it on Olaf because that kind of you can play it with Olaf because of he's Olaf.
Yeah.
So he did it on Gnar and just died. And
on this squishy marksman and went, "You have 200 range. What are you doing?"
Yeah. I still also remember a Netshoes Miners game where this was previously, I think, to my understanding, was the biggest gold comeback I've ever seen in CBLOL, which was about 10k. It's one of the first CBLOL games I ever watched, and it was an Annie Vigar game. It was Netshoes Miners with Annie Vigar mid, and they were outside there. This was like Drop Hawk, Annie, Croc, and
was this the Miners the Miners Renzga game?
It could have been. But like it was a 10k gold throw from one of them, 10k comeback with a Vigar, like just catching people on pushing Nexus towers and then just killing them on repeat and just one-shotting them over and over again. I think they had like Jhin Nautilus bot lane. It was like a 50-minute Jhin game where they won somehow because Drop was like a Jhin master. Like it was that was like stuck in my head as like this is like the classic CBLOL throw, which only recently got topped by the Red Loud game.
Yeah.
Where they were 12.5k ahead.
Oh my god.
Lost.
And there were a load of pauses in that game as well, and we were just like, hey man, we're just chilling. We're quite happy with this. We know what the outcome is. And then we did not know what the outcome was, so
yeah.
I think this probably goes into Yeah, I think this goes into some sort of history. I will remember this series. I'll definitely remember Game 4. The rest of the series I'll probably not remember because it was games 1 and 2 were very lukewarm.
Yeah,
Game 3 was good. Game 4 was incredible.
Was the symbolic one, and like I think that there's an important element to this of the LLA being gradually shrunk in its influence in Tier 1, and kind of everywhere, split by split, year by year over the last few years through these reshuffles that we're going through. Leviatán being the last bastion of true LLA left after Leon still has like I think one player that's LLA, maybe not even, right? Like I don't even know who Lion has.
If that.
Like so maybe they don't. It's like Berserker Isles inspired Saint who's not
it's
like
a full
LLA.
Yeah.
You played in LLA I think before or equivalent, but so like it's the last.
There are no Latinos on that.
It's
team.
the last true LLA team. It's an LLA org with 3 LLA players. 4, sorry, counting. Wait, is it 5? It's actually 5. Sorry, I don't know why I didn't count Seo and Toplop in that for some reason.
Yeah, they
it's
are
actually
all...
It's actually 5, and they went up against PaiN Gaming, featuring Robo and Tinones, and just styled on them with the way that they styled on them with the Devast kills and the Buki invades. And then, like, having a game 4 like that, true spiritual, down-to-your-bones CBLOL game in game 4.
Yeah.
And beat them. They beat PaiN, they beat Robo and Tinones at their own game in a very literal sense, and kept the LLA alive in this like, playoffs. I think there's a lot of important kind of messaging there, and I think, like, LLA fans can be very happy with that and keep that as a bit of a core memory. So I'd like it to be remembered for that.
Hey, this is a great time. Thought experiment. Those of you at home, drop a comment. What's your most memorable CBLOL moment?
Yeah. What's going on?
And something for us to think about.
The Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
In a frame. What moment? What's going on there?
Yeah. So I think our time frames are very much kind of post franchising as far as the game.
Yeah.
Like,
2021.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure there are dozens of games.
Like there will be BRTT and Tinones
there's
clips from
classics like the INTZ wins, the Kaboom wins at internationals, like the standards that get wheeled out every time CBLOL goes to an international event. But we need to make some more from internationalists.
Tay doing Tay teleporting 1 foot in front of him at Worlds 2020. A classic.
Really.
6-pack Tinones twice in the split.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly.
That was incredible.
I like because I remember watching like the season trailer for this split from CBLOL and just like not understanding any of it because I don't speak Portuguese well enough, but understanding the teleport reference just because it's a visual gag, and I was like, I understood that reference. Like,
exactly.
So I enjoyed that a lot, and I think nobody like celebrates their own sort of history and culture better in those kind of like content pieces than CBLOL does. Like nobody understands their region and their history and tradition better than CBLOL, and like engages with it in a fun, inventive, honest, but still
not taking themselves too seriously,
compassionate and engaging way. So like endless props to the content team who does from Riot Brazil, presumably, who does that. Okay. That's going to wrap it up, think, for us, gents. Thank you once again for the submitted questions. Thank you, everybody, for watching/listening and for sticking with us over 4 days of varying stream types and casters and qualities. We'll hopefully be back this weekend with more playoffs now. We're done playing in. We are now playing off officially.
It is double best of 3s this weekend, so it is both best of 3s being played. You've got your first warm-up best of 3s to start us out, those being Loud versus VKS and Furia versus Leviatán, and then immediately on the Sunday followed by the next best of 3, Los versus whoever they choose to play, and Red versus whoever they get in the draw. So potential 12 games over the weekend to stay tuned for.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of action to follow it in, and you can follow us on X and Blue Sky at CBLOL English. You can join our community Discord, you can submit questions, you can talk to us about the games, you can join the Fantasy League, and do all of it. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see you this weekend for playoffs.